The system is starting. You have been chosen to hear this. It is not by accident. In a world filled with noise, where everyone is quick to speak, quick to judge, you are being invited into a space of sacred silence, or a place where there is no opinion, no pressure, no expectations. It is just you and the voice that truly needs to be heard. Today, I have not come to add noise to your life. I have come to remind you, it is in silence that your soul is healed, and your mission begins.
There is a mystery in being chosen, a sacred calling that many do not fully grasp. When you are set apart for a purpose that reaches beyond your own life, it carries a weight that most will never be asked to bear. Those called to something higher, those marked by destiny, must walk a different road, and more often than not, they must walk it alone. God doesn't summon you into comfort. He doesn't place you among the crowd so you can blend in and feel safe. No, He pulls you aside, He sets you apart, and in that separation there is often a deep sense of isolation, of being alone, misunderstood, and misplaced. But hear me, you were never meant to fit in where you were created to lead. The weight of being chosen is not light. It changes how you see the world. It changes what you hear, how you think, and what you feel. The vision within you, the fire in your soul, will drive you down paths others won't comprehend. You will try to explain, but your words will sound foreign to their ears. You will invite them to join you, but they'll hesitate, resist, or walk away, and this is where the pain strikes deepest. Because being chosen not only sets you apart from the world, it often distances you from the people you love. Some of you know this pain all too well. You've sat among others, surrounded and yet alone, aching with the emptiness of not belonging. You've stood in rooms full of people and still felt like an outsider. Though friends and family gather around you, something inside feels hollow, because somewhere deep in your spirit, you know you were made for something more. And that ache, it isn't a mistake. That loneliness you feel isn't accidental. It's a signal. It's God shaping something in you that He isn't forming in everyone else. When you are chosen, you cannot live like everyone else. You cannot think as they think or move as they move. That is why you feel out of place. That is why it's hard to relate. It's not because something is wrong with you. It's because something in you is different. God has placed something within you that demands separation, because what He is cultivating requires your focus, your obedience, your discipline, and your willingness to be misunderstood. Some of the most powerful vessels God has ever used spent seasons in isolation before they were lifted up. Consider Moses, raised among royalty, yet never truly one of them. Chosen to deliver his people, but first rejected by them. Or Joseph, who received a divine dream, but was betrayed and sold by his own brothers. Or David, anointed king, yet again and again sent back to the fields. The pattern repeats. Before the chosen step into destiny, they must endure the pain of being set apart. And that pain, it breaks you, it humbles you, it brings you low, but it's in that breaking that God prepares you. He strips away what cannot go with you, the seasonal relationships, the destructive habits, the noise that drowns His voice. And often, the only way for Him to do that is to lead you into solitude, away from everything and everyone you thought you needed. I know it hurts. I know there are nights when you ask why God would entrust you with such a heavy load. I know there are moments when you feel you can't go on, when you doubt your strength, your calling. But hear me now, you were made for this. You were built to carry this burden. You were chosen. And if God has called you to it, He will equip you to walk through it. Your loneliness is not your end. It is your beginning. It is the refining fire that clarifies your purpose. It is the silence where God's voice speaks the loudest. It is the sacred ground where your destiny begins to take shape. So don't resist it, don't fight it, embrace it. Because when the day comes, and it will, When God declares that it's time for you to step into everything He has ordained for you, you will look back and realize that the solitude wasn't abandonment, it was divine prep. It was God walking with you, forming you, shaping you, so that when you are finally sent forth, you will be ready. Rejection has a way of piercing deep. It causes you to question your worth, to wonder if you are truly enough, if you're truly meant for the calling that burns within you. You step forward in faith, believing others will recognize what God has placed in you. You expect support, loyalty, companionship, but instead you are met with silence, turned backs, and empty hands. And that pain, it doesn't just bruise your heart, it rattles your soul. But I need you to understand something. Rejection is not punishment. It is preparation. It is not God declaring you unworthy. It is God setting you apart. Too often we take rejection to heart, interpreting it as failure, as abandonment, as proof that we do not matter. But when God allows rejection to touch your life, it is because He is realigning your path. He is shielding you. He is ensuring that you do not settle for less than the greatness He placed within you. Consider Joseph once more. His own brothers turned against him. He was cast into a pit, sold into slavery, all while carrying dreams of divine purpose. But those rejections were necessary. Had his brothers accepted him, he might have remained in place. Had they embraced him, he might never have stepped into the journey that led him to Egypt, to power, to the fulfillment of God's promise. Sometimes the very people you expect to support you will become the ones who push you away. They will not grasp your vision. They won't see what you see, and you will be tempted to dim your light, to lower your calling, to shrink yourself just to be accepted. But you were not called to be accepted. You were called to rise. You were chosen to stand where others will not. You were anointed to lead, to blaze a trail, to carry a torch in the dark. That is why rejection is not your enemy. It is a marker of divine movement. When you were rejected, do not chase after those who dismissed your worth. Do not mourn the doors that closed. If God allowed them to shut, it means something better is waiting. You may not see it now, you may not understand it yet, but if you keep walking, keep trusting, you will look back and know every no was leading to a greater yes. Some of you are still clinging to the sting of rejection. You're replaying conversations, reliving moments, and letting the voices of those who left shape your identity. But listen closely. Your worth is not measured by who walked away. Your purpose is not voided because someone didn't believe in you. If God called you, that is all the confirmation you will ever need. If He chose you, then no human rejection can derail what He has ordained. You must shift your perspective. Stop seeing rejection as a curse. Begin to recognize it as evidence that God is working. He is closing the wrong doors. He is removing those who cannot walk with you into your future. He is preparing the environment where you will flourish in the right place, at the right time, with the right people. Even Jesus was rejected, mocked, despised, betrayed by the very ones He came to save. His close companions turned on Him, and still He pressed on. He did not allow rejection to derail His mission. If even Jesus had to endure rejection, why do we think we won't? Why do we imagine that being chosen means we'll be celebrated? The truth is, the higher the calling, the deeper the rejection. The greater the purpose, the lonelier the road. But still, walk it. I need you to truly understand this. Rejection is not the conclusion of your story. It's a vital chapter in your preparation. It's molding you, refining your character, and fortifying your spirit. Because when you finally arrive at the place where God has been leading you, you look back and recognize that every rejection was God's way of saying, I have something greater. You'll see that he was always in control, always guiding your steps, and always preparing you for something far beyond what you could have imagined. So the next time rejection finds you, don't break down. Don't plead for acceptance. Stand tall, lift your head with confidence, and remember, you were never created to blend in. You were meant to stand out. And God is using every rejection to move you closer to your divine purpose. There comes a moment in life when you realize that before God elevates you, He first allows you to be broken. Not in a way that destroys you, but in a way that strips away everything that cannot go with you into the next chapter. It's a kind of breaking that purifies, that humbles, that prepares, because God never promotes without first preparing, and preparation always comes at a cost. Many believe being chosen means a smooth path, a life untouched by pain. But if you examine the lives of those God has used, you'll notice a pattern. Before the elevation comes isolation. Before the breakthrough comes heartbreak, and before the crown comes crushing. In that crushing, it will feel as though everything is unraveling. The very things you once thought were stable begin to fall apart. And you'll question why God is allowing such pain when all you've tried to do is walk in His will. But that's the reality of being chosen. It means you must endure what others won't, because you are being prepared for what others can't carry. When there's a high calling on your life, God cannot allow you to step into it unprepared. He cannot let you carry pride, bitterness, unforgiveness, or dependency on people. So He allows the breaking, not out of cruelty, but because the greatness He's placed within you requires transformation. Consider David, anointed while still a young man, destined to be king, yet before he ever touched a throne, he fled for his life, took shelter in caves, and faced betrayal from those he once defended. God had already chosen him, but he wasn't ready. The anointing was on him, but the process was still required, and the process was painful. Some of you are walking through that process right now. You're in the midst of the breaking, unable to make sense of it. You look around and wonder why doors are closing, why relationships are unraveling, why the things you once prayed for now seem to be slipping away. You're asking, why me? Why now? Why this? The answer is simple, because God is forming you into who you were always destined to be. Gold is purified in fire. Diamonds are formed under immense pressure. Olive oil flows only when the olive is crushed. And you, the gift inside of you, can only be revealed through the breaking. The dreams God has given you, the purpose embedded deep within you, the strength He knows resides in you, all of it must be drawn out. And that drawing out never happens in comfort. It doesn't happen when everything is easy. It happens when you're on your knees, when everything else has failed you, when all you have left is His Word. You may not see it now, but a day will come when you'll look back and thank Him for the breaking. One day it will be clear that every tear, every loss, every heartbreak wasn't working against you. It was working for you. What you thought was rejection was actually His protection. What you assumed was suffering was preparation. What you believed was the end was in truth the beginning of the person He was shaping you to become. So don't resist the process. Don't rush the healing. Let God do what only He can do. Let Him strip away what no longer serves your purpose. Let Him remove the distractions, the attachments, the comforts keeping you from walking fully in your calling. Yes, it will hurt. Yes, it will feel unfair. But when He is finished with you, you will be stronger. You will be wiser. You will be unshakable. And when the moment arrives, when He lifts you up, you will be ready. When God sets you apart, it doesn't always come with signs or wonders that command attention. Often it's far more subtle, yet deeply powerful. He makes you different. And for a long time, you may not even understand why. You just sense that you don't quite belong. You could be in a crowd and still feel like you're walking a separate road. You may be offered opportunities, but something within you whispers, they're not meant for you. You might build relationships, but they never seem to last. Eventually you begin to wonder, why do I feel so disconnected? Why is my journey so unlike those around me? And the answer is simple: because you were never designed to blend in. You were never meant to settle where you didn't belong. Your life is marked by a calling that is unlike any other. And that calling demands a different road. It demands a process many won't understand. There's a weight that comes with being chosen, a loneliness that often shadows purpose. And if you're not careful, you'll begin to resent the very thing that makes you unique. You'll start to see your difference as a burden instead of a blessing. You'll think something is wrong with you because you don't conform, because you don't move like others, because you refuse to settle. But hear this: being different is not a curse. It is the evidence of God's hand on your life. It's the sign that He's calling you higher, preparing you for something greater, something that demands you be set apart. And that process, it's never easy. It will cost you people. It will bring seasons of solitude, moments where you feel unseen and misunderstood. You'll walk through doors alone, trusting that the God who led you there will also sustain you. You'll be called to make choices that seem illogical to others, decisions that require faith and sacrifice. Look at Moses. He grew up with privilege, wealth, and power in Pharaoh's palace. He could have stayed. He could have lived comfortably, but deep down he knew he didn't belong. He was called to something greater, and that calling pulled him into the wilderness, into isolation, into a season where all he had was God. But in that space where everything was stripped away, God met him. Some of you are in that wilderness right now. You feel separated from what once felt familiar, and the temptation is to believe you've gone astray or done something wrong. But I need you to know, this is not punishment. This is preparation. God isn't isolating you to harm you. He is setting you apart to shape you. He is teaching you to depend fully on Him, to trust Him when the way ahead is unclear, to walk by faith when sight fails. And when the moment finally arrives, when He unveils what all of this has been for, you will look back and understand. Understand this: every season of loneliness, every painful decision, every moment where you felt out of place, it all had purpose. One day you'll look back and realize He was never ignoring you, never forgetting you. He was setting you apart, molding you, preparing you so that when the moment came to step fully into your calling, you would be ready. There is a weight that comes with being chosen. It draws attention, makes you a target. The very instant God sets you apart, the moment He places a divine purpose on your life, the warfare begins. And for many, that battle begins early. Some of you have faced resistance for as long as you can remember. It's felt as though you've had to fight for everything: your peace, your direction, your very sense of being. You didn't go looking for the fight came looking for you. And still you wonder why your life has been a battleground while others seem to glide through theirs untouched. You question why you've had to endure such loss, rejection, betrayal, and hardship. And if you're honest, sometimes it doesn't make sense. But listen to me now. The attacks against your life are evidence of the anointing upon it. The enemy does not waste his efforts on those who pose no threat. He does not pursue those without a purpose, without a calling, without a destiny. He pursues the ones marked by God for something greater. That's why your battles have been so fierce. That's why you've endured what should have broken you. That's why He's come after you again and again, because He sees what's within you, even in the moments you've doubted it yourself. He knows. Look at Joseph. God gave him a dream, a glimpse of the destiny ahead. But before that dream became reality, he was thrown into a pit, betrayed by his own brothers, sold as a slave, falsely accused, and imprisoned. His life seemed to be unraveling, yet in truth it was all aligning. Every trial, every setback, every heartbreak was pushing him into position for the very thing God had already prepared. And some of you are in that exact space right now. You feel like you're in the pit and you can't understand why. You're staring at the chaos in your life, at the betrayals, the wounds, the endless obstacles, and you're questioning how any of it could possibly matter. But what you don't see is what's being built behind the scenes. What you don't realize is that every single battle has been a training ground for where you're headed. The trials designed to break you have instead been forging you. The pain meant to destroy you has only made you stronger. Because here is the reality. God doesn't call those who haven't been tested. He doesn't hand great responsibility to those who haven't been prepared. So he allows the struggle not to crush you, but to equip you. He permits the fight not to defeat you, but to develop you. Because if you're going to carry the weight of the calling he's placed on your life, you must be strong enough to stand, wise enough to discern, and resilient enough to press on when everything inside you wants to give up. And that is exactly why the enemy has fought so relentlessly. That is why the pressure has felt unrelenting, because once you step into who God created you to be, once you fully realize the authority and the power that resides within you, there is nothing the enemy can do to stop you. He can attack, but he cannot win. He can place obstacles before you, but he cannot undo what God has spoken over you. So don't allow the warfare to harden your heart. Don't let the attacks cause you to doubt your identity. Know this: every challenge, every hardship, every spiritual battle is confirmation that you are walking in your purpose. It is proof that you are not average, not ordinary. You have been set apart. God's hand is upon your life. And when you come through this, and you will, you'll emerge stronger, wiser, and prepared for everything God has promised. So keep pressing forward, keep standing firm. Victory already belongs to you. When God places a calling on your life, he doesn't merely carve out a path for you, he shapes you to walk it. And that process is rarely easy. It seldom unfolds the way you'd expect. It almost never looks like the journey you would have chosen for yourself. Because being chosen doesn't mean the path will be smooth. It doesn't mean doors will swing open without resistance. It doesn't mean people will understand you, support you, or applaud your journey. Sometimes being chosen means walking alone. Sometimes it means being rejected by the very people you thought would stand by you. Sometimes it means weathering storms you never anticipated and fighting battles you never prepared for. And in those moments, you might begin to question whether you were truly called at all. Because in your mind, if you were really chosen by God, wouldn't the path be a little easier? Wouldn't the people see your heart and rally around you? Wouldn't the timing make sense and the weight lift? But what if I told you the struggle is the evidence, that the solitude is part of the refining, that the breaking is where the true making begins? Think about David. When the prophet anointed him as king, he was just a shepherd boy, overlooked, dismissed by his own family, far from a throne. And after he was chosen, his life didn't become easier, it became harder. He was hunted, forced to hide in caves, misunderstood, betrayed, thrust into battle after battle. Yet every lonely night, every moment of despair, every uncertain season was crafting him into the king he was destined to become. Some of you are in that season right now. You feel cast aside, you feel invisible. You've remained faithful, yet the doors stay shut. You've been obedient, yet the road keeps getting harder. And now you're questioning whether you have the strength to continue. But let me remind you, just because you haven't seen the promise fulfilled doesn't mean it isn't coming. Just because you're in a wilderness doesn't mean you've lost your way. God is not punishing you. He's preparing you. In the silence, he's fortifying your spirit. In the hidden place, he's shaping your character. He's teaching you to trust when there's nothing else to lean on. Because when the time comes for you to walk into your purpose, you won't just be ready, you'll be unshakable. And not everyone will understand that process. Not everyone will see what God is cultivating within you. Some will question it. Some will walk away. Some will doubt what they cannot discern. But don't let their blindness make you question your vision. Don't let their absence cause you to forget what God already confirmed. If people walk away, let them go. If doors close, trust that they weren't meant to open. If the path is rougher than expected, understand it's because the destination is greater than you imagined. The chosen ones always carry the heaviest weight. They always face the fiercest trials, but they also walk in the deepest power, because once you've been refined by fire, once you've survived the valley and kept your faith intact, there is nothing left that can break you. So don't lose hope in the process. Don't let the struggle cloud your vision. Keep walking, keep believing, keep trusting, because every word God has spoken over your life will come to pass. And when that moment arrives, when the shaping is complete and the time is right, nothing and no one will be able to hinder what God has already prepared for you. So stay faithful, stay strong. Your time is coming. You find yourself alone, without many friends, and struggling financially. It's incredibly difficult to find a partner or achieve economic stability. The reason for this, dear one, is that you possess exceptional intelligence and a radiant inner light. When you carry this light, those who harbor darkness within themselves cannot get close to you, because your presence reveals the truths they are trying to hide. In this video, we will explore the unique journey of chosen individuals, those who walk a path of higher spiritual evolution. We will discuss why chosen ones often experience solitude, feel disconnected from the world, and struggle to form deep, meaningful relationships. Furthermore, we will examine why financial struggles are a common challenge for chosen ones, especially in a society that prioritizes material success above all else. But most importantly, we will uncover how these struggles can be transformed into your greatest source of strength and growth, shaping you into the person you were always meant to become. Many people experience loneliness and financial difficulties, yet they are extraordinary and powerful individuals. You are powerful, but you may be alone and struggling because you exist beyond the norms of this world. Rather than viewing your solitude and struggles as setbacks, see them as opportunities for profound personal growth, tools that can help you attract relationships that truly align with your soul. Being alone is not merely a coincidence. It is a defining trait of those who walk the path of higher consciousness. You might wonder why, despite being kind, genuine, and giving, relationships feel so challenging. Why do people seem to move away from you rather than toward you? Why does it feel like no one truly understands you? This loneliness, however, is not a punishment. It is a reflection of your unique spiritual journey and the vibrational energy you carry. You are different from those around you, and this difference is more deeply felt than seen. You resonate at a frequency that can be uncomfortable for many, especially for those operating from a place of fear, doubt, or superficiality. As a chosen one, your energy acts as a mirror, exposing truths that others may not be ready to face. It challenges their ego, forcing them to confront aspects of themselves they would rather ignore. This is why relationships with chosen ones are often brief or filled with tension, not because you are doing something wrong, but because your very presence compels others to see their own hidden realities. This often leads people to distance themselves from you, whether consciously or unconsciously. But why does this happen? Let's delve deeper into the spiritual mechanics behind it. As a chosen one, you possess a unique spiritual light. While this light is not always visible, it is deeply felt by those around you. It is a kind of inner radiance that others perceive, even if they don't fully understand what they are sensing. Your light naturally draws people toward you, but it also repels them when they realize that it forces them to acknowledge their own darkness. Imagine someone who has lived in a dimly lit room for years. They have grown comfortable in the low light, even though it limits their vision. When you enter with a bright light, the entire room is illuminated, revealing both beauty and hidden clutter. This sudden exposure can be unsettling for those who have grown accustomed to the shadow. Similarly, when you enter people's lives, Your presence brings to light the aspects of themselves that they may have been suppressing, unresolved wounds, insecurities, or fears. This can make them uncomfortable, and as a result, they may choose to distance themselves from you. This doesn't mean that your relationships are doomed, but it does mean that only those who are willing to face their own inner struggles will remain in your life. The people who stay are those who are committed to growth and self-awareness, rare individuals who truly align with your energy. Another reason chosen ones often experience loneliness is due to an energy imbalance in relationships. Your energy is powerful and magnetic, naturally attracting people to you. However, not everyone who is drawn to your light is capable of reciprocating it in a healthy way. Many are unknowingly attracted to your uplifting energy because it makes them feel good, but they may not have the ability to give back. This creates an imbalance where you are constantly giving your time, your energy, your wisdom without receiving anything in return. Over time, this can leave you feeling drained and exhausted. You may notice that after spending time with certain people, you feel emotionally depleted, anxious, or even depressed. This is because they are unconsciously feeding off your energy, using you as a source of light without contributing anything of their own. Many chosen ones naturally distance themselves from these energy-draining relationships, becoming more selective about who they allow into their space. This is not selfishness, it is self-preservation. You cannot continue to give endlessly without also receiving. If the people around you are unable to contribute to your well-being, it is better to walk alone than to remain in one-sided relationships. For many chosen ones, solitude is not just a preference, it is a necessity. When you walk the path of spiritual evolution, you will inevitably go through periods where solitude is required for growth, healing, and self-discovery. These moments allow you to focus on your spiritual journey without external distractions. In solitude, you gain the space to heal past wounds, confront unresolved emotions, and deepen your connection with the divine. Though this healing process can be painful, it is also profoundly transformative. It is during these periods of solitude that you experience the most significant breakthroughs. Many chosen ones carry deep emotional wounds, often from childhood or past experiences, which can create barriers to forming deep connections. This is why it is crucial to take time alone to heal, to release emotional baggage, and to free yourself from anything holding you back. Healing is not something that happens overnight. It requires patience, self-compassion, and commitment. While isolation may sometimes feel lonely, understand that this solitude is not a punishment. It is a vital step toward becoming the person you are meant to be. But solitude is not just about healing, it is also about preparation. The universe has a divine plan for your life, and periods of solitude are designed to prepare you for something greater. These moments are intentional, strengthening your connection with the divine and refining your spiritual gifts. Think of solitude as a form of spiritual training. During this time, you are being tested and shaped into the person you need to become in order to fulfill your destiny. This preparation requires stripping away layers of ego, fear, and doubt so you can step fully into your power. Many chosen ones feel restless during these phases, as if they are waiting for something to happen. However, this waiting period is not wasted time. It is a crucial part of your evolution. The universe is aligning your energy, your purpose, and your relationships so that when the right time comes, you will be ready. This time of solitude is also an opportunity for deep self-discovery. It allows you to explore your passions, talents, and desires, reconnecting with your true self and strengthening your faith in the divine plan. Now, let's turn our attention to another significant challenge faced by chosen ones: financial struggles. Many chosen individuals, despite their intelligence, skills, and hard work, find themselves facing financial difficulties. You may feel as though, no matter how hard you try, financial stability remains just out of reach. But why is this? Why do chosen ones who hold so much potential often face economic hardships. The answer lies, as a chosen one walking a unique spiritual path, your life does not follow the same rules as others. You are here for a higher purpose, one that often clashes with conventional approaches to wealth. Unlike those who are driven by material gain, you are guided by your spiritual values, authenticity, and the pursuit of a meaningful life. This means you may turn down lucrative opportunities that do not align with your principles, choosing instead careers that bring fulfillment and joy rather than financial prosperity. You prioritize personal and spiritual growth over monetary success, and as a result, you may find yourself struggling financially. However, this struggle is not a sign of failure. It is evidence that you are walking a different path, one that aligns with your soul's true calling. Your purpose is to bring light, healing, and transformation to the world. And such a mission does not always come with material rewards. These financial hardships are not obstacles, but integral parts of your journey, preparing you for something far greater. Another reason why chosen ones often face financial difficulties is the energetic misalignment with traditional methods of accumulating wealth. Money is energy, and the way it flows in your life is directly connected to your vibrational frequency. Your energy is focused on higher vibrational activities, teaching, healing, creating, and inspiring positive change. These pursuits, while essential to your soul's mission, do not always translate into immediate financial reward. Traditional wealth-building methods such as corporate advancements, stock market investments, or profit-driven entrepreneurship may not resonate with your essence, making them feel unfulfilling or misaligned with your values. This misalignment creates an energetic barrier, making it difficult to achieve financial success through conventional means. However, this does not mean financial abundance is unattainable. Rather, it means you are being called to discover alternative paths to wealth, ones that align with your spiritual journey. Instead of chasing material success, you are meant to focus on creating value in the world, using your gifts to serve others, and trusting that the universe will provide in alignment with your higher purpose. A key reason why chosen ones often experience financial struggles is that their purpose does not revolve around profit. You are here to bring wisdom, healing, and transformation, which requires walking a path distinct from societal norms. Many chosen ones find themselves in roles dedicated to helping others, whether through teaching, creative expression, or spiritual guidance. While these paths may not always lead to material wealth, they offer profound spiritual rewards. Your commitment to your calling may require financial sacrifices, but these are not without purpose. They build resilience, creativity, and resourcefulness, all of which contribute to your soul's evolution. Unlike those who measure success through financial gain, you understand that true wealth comes from within, from living in harmony with your soul's mission. This mindset allows you to recognize value where others may not, guiding you toward opportunities that align with both spiritual and material abundance. Financial struggles among chosen ones can also stem from deep-rooted financial blocks, often inherited through generational patterns of personal experiences. Many carry limiting beliefs about money passed down from ancestors, or reinforced through financial hardships, resulting in a scarcity mindset. During times of spiritual transformation, these energetic barriers surface, demanding healing. Confronting these deeply ingrained patterns is challenging but necessary for breaking cycles of lack. You may even be carrying the financial burdens of your lineage, chosen to break these cycles and heal generational wounds. While this process can leave you feeling vulnerable, it is an essential step in aligning with the abundance meant for you. As you clear these blocks, financial opportunities will begin to flow effortlessly, aligned with your soul's purpose. Beyond this, chosen ones often endure financial hardships as a test of faith, a challenge to trust in the universe's greater plan. Walking a spiritually guided path means facing periods of uncertainty, where financial stability seems elusive. and trust is the only currency that matters. These moments are not signs that you are lost, but tests designed to strengthen your connection with the divine. Your struggles refine your ability to rely on spiritual abundance rather than material wealth, teaching you to trust in divine timing. The hardships you face are temporary, shaping you for a destiny greater than you can currently see. The universe is preparing you for your role, testing your resilience and ensuring that you are ready to fulfill your mission. It is in these moments that you learn to trust your inner guidance and the unseen forces working in your favor. Just as solitude prepares you for deeper relationships, financial struggles serve a higher purpose, stripping away distractions and allowing you to focus on your spiritual growth. Think of this phase as the cocoon before the butterfly emerges, a necessary transformation that requires shedding limiting beliefs and outdated patterns. Though painful, this process is shaping you into the person you are meant to become. Your financial struggles are not punishments, but preparations, aligning every aspect of your life so that when the time is right, you will step into your purpose with clarity and power. One reason why chosen ones often feel isolated or financially constrained is that their depth of understanding does not align with society's traditional values. You perceive beyond the surface, recognizing that money is merely energy, not the true measure of success or worth. This perspective makes it difficult to fit into a system that prioritizes material wealth over spiritual fulfillment. While many are driven by financial gain, status, and power, you understand that these are fleeting illusions. True success lies in living authentically, cultivating love, wisdom, and purpose. This awareness sets you apart, often making you feel misunderstood or out of place in a world that values materialism. However, this depth is not a burden, it is a gift. Your presence and perspective challenge societal norms, paving the way for a new paradigm where wealth is measured not by bank accounts, but by the richness of the soul. Today we recognize that the loneliness and financial struggles of chosen ones are not burdens, but divine preparations for something greater. Being chosen means that the universe is shaping you, aligning your spirit, and strengthening your essence for the profound purpose you are meant to fulfill. This path requires patience, faith, resilience, and most importantly, trust in the process. Your struggles, whether in relationships or finances, are not indicators of failure, but confirmations of your uniqueness, spiritual strength, and destined path. You are being prepared for a life that transcends superficial definitions of success, a life filled with purpose, meaning, and spiritual fulfillment. Embrace this journey, knowing that every challenge is refining you into the person you are meant to be. The loneliness you experience is temporary, setting the stage for deeper, more meaningful connections. The financial difficulties you endure are also temporary, teaching you invaluable lessons that will ultimately lead to lasting abundance, one that aligns fully with your soul's mission. If this message resonates with you, share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and join our community of chosen ones by subscribing to the channel. Remember, you are a masterpiece in progress, complete yet always evolving. Peace and light to you. Check the first comment of the video, and always remember, you are a masterpiece in progress, radiating peace and light. There is something unmistakably different about the woman who has been chosen. She walks a path unlike the rest, a road less traveled, a journey that often feels solitary. Yet her solitude does not arise from weakness, but from divine distinction. She has been set apart. The world may not understand her. People may drift in and out of her life. Often she may feel as if she stands alone in a crowd, unseen, unacknowledged, but she is never truly alone. She has been chosen for something greater. When God sets someone apart, He does not place them in the center of the crowd. He calls them away from the distractions, away from the noise, away from the voices that might steer them astray. A chosen woman is not forged in the warmth of constant companionship, but in the solitude of divine preparation. She is not called to conform, but to rise above. She is not called to follow the common path, but the narrow road walked by few. Look to the scriptures and you will find that every woman chosen by God first walked alone before stepping into her destiny. Esther was taken from her people before she became queen. Ruth left all she had ever known before discovering her purpose. Hannah prayed in anguish alone before she gave birth to a prophet. Mary carried a divine promise no one could fully comprehend. So it is with the chosen woman. She is set apart not because she is forgotten, but because she is destined. She walks alone, not because she is forsaken, but because God is leading her where others cannot follow. Her rejection is not a reflection of her worth, but a pruning. God removing what cannot accompany her into the next chapter. A chosen woman does not move with the crowd. She is not swayed by popular opinion. She does not lower her standards to fit in. She does not settle for anything less than what God has called her to. That is why certain friendships fade. That is why some relationships cannot last. That is why familiar places begin to feel foreign. The hand of God is on her life, and she cannot remain where she once was. Many will not understand her. They will question her choices. They will wonder why she takes the hard road instead of the easy one. But she does not live for the approval of others. She lives for the approval of the one who called her. She does not walk in fear because she knows who goes before her. She does not seek validation, for she is already chosen. In her solitude, she finds strength. In her quiet seasons, she is prepared. In the stillness, she learns to hear God's voice. She learns to trust Him when nothing makes sense. She learns to stand in faith even when the path ahead is unclear. She is not merely waiting. She is being refined. She is not simply alone. She is being transformed. There will come a day when everything will make sense, when doors once closed will open wide, when the tears cried in secret will turn into public joy, when the ache of loneliness is replaced by the power of divine purpose. She will step fully into what she was created for and realize that she was never alone. God was always with her, shaping her, molding her, and leading her toward the destiny He prepared before she was even born. So if she walks alone now, it is only because she is being set apart. If she feels unseen, it is only because she is being hidden for a season. If she feels the weight of loneliness, it is only because she is being positioned for something greater. The chosen woman does not fear the journey, she embraces it. She is set apart by God, not as punishment, but as preparation. From the moment she is called, her journey changes. She does not follow the path of the majority. She is not led by the world, but by the unseen hand of the Almighty, shaped by His purpose and formed by His will. Her life may not resemble those around her. At times, this distinction can feel like isolation, but this separation is not rejection. It is a mark of divine selection. When God chooses someone for a special purpose, He draws them away from the noise, away from the distractions, so they can fix their eyes on what truly matters. God has always set apart those He calls. Consider the women in Scripture destined for greatness. Esther was removed from her homeland and placed in a foreign palace, set apart so that one day she could intercede for her people. Ruth walked away from all she knew, her homeland, her family, her comfort, to walk into the unknown. Mary, the mother of Jesus, bore a divine assignment no one around her could fully understand. These women were not called to ordinary lives. They were chosen, and therefore they were set apart. When a woman is set apart by God, she will walk through seasons of loneliness. She will discover that she no longer fits into the world's mold. What was once comfortable may become unfamiliar. Friendships that once thrived may fade. She may wonder why her path feels harder, why she cannot live like others. But the answer is simple. She was not created to be like everyone else. She carries a calling that demands separation. God is not punishing her. He is protecting her, shielding her from distractions that could derail her calling, guarding her from influences that could diminish her purpose. Being set apart is also being refined. A chosen woman is not thrust into her calling unprepared. She must be transformed. A season of hidden work where God shapes her heart, her character, her faith. It is a sacred process done where no one sees, no one applauds. It is in those moments she learns to trust God completely. She learns to walk by faith, not by sight. She learns to hear His voice above every other. This is not a time of punishment, it is a time of preparation. Just as gold is refined by fire, the chosen woman is refined by the trials she endures. There is a cost to being set apart. It is not always easy. She may be misunderstood, even by those closest to her. She may be rejected, not for her lack, but because her presence convicts those not aligned with God. She may be criticized for her choices, her standards, her unwavering faith. But she does not waver. She knows her validation does not come from man, it comes from God. She is not here to please the world, but to fulfill the purpose for which she was created. Though she walks alone, she is never truly alone. God walks with her. He leads her, guides her, strengthens her. He sees her silent battles. He hears her whispered prayers. He knows the tears she cries and the faith she clings to when all else feels uncertain. And in time, He will reveal the purpose behind every moment of solitude. The chosen woman is set apart not because she is forgotten, but because she is destined. Not because she is rejected, but because she is being positioned. She walks a road divinely orchestrated, a path leading to something greater than she can yet imagine. Though the journey may be difficult, she understands that solitude is not a sentence, it is sacred. It is not a punishment, it is a place of transformation. She may go through seasons of isolation where friendships fade, where she walks seemingly alone, but her solitude is not meant to break her. It is meant to build her. It is in the quiet seasons that she is refined, shaped, and molded into the woman God has called her to be. The world often views loneliness as weakness, but in the kingdom of God, solitude is a holy space. It is there that a woman learns to rely on God alone. In her separation from distractions, she begins to hear His voice with clarity. Pulled away from people, she is drawn closer to His presence. In these quiet places, her faith is deepened, her spirit strengthened, and her character tested. Before God elevates someone, He often brings them through a season of isolation. Look at the life of Moses. Before becoming the great deliverer, he spent 40 years in the wilderness. David was anointed king, but before he wore the crown, he hid alone in caves seeking God. Even Jesus withdrew into the wilderness for 40 days before beginning His public ministry. If a chosen woman finds herself alone, she must understand this is not a sign of rejection. It is a sign of preparation. God is silencing the noise so she can hear Him. He is stripping away the unnecessary so she can focus on what truly matters. He is leading her through a process that will prepare her for the calling ahead. A chosen woman is not made in the spotlight. She is made in the secret place. The world may never witness her transformation, but God sees it all. He sees her midnight prayers, her silent tears, the inner battles she faces, and He is using every moment of solitude to strengthen her, to make her wiser, and to prepare her for what is to come. The process is not always easy. There will be days she questions why she must face such struggles alone. Times she wonders why her path feels so difficult. But the difficulty is a clue. It speaks to the greatness of the calling. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Gold is purified by fire. And a chosen woman is shaped in solitude. Not everyone can go where she is going. One of the hardest lessons she must learn is that some people are only meant to walk with her for a season. She may wish to hold on to relationships or connections that once felt safe. But when God leads her to greater things, He removes those who cannot journey with her. This is not rejection. It is divine redirection. God sees what she cannot. He knows the hearts of those around her. He knows who will help her and who will hinder her. And because He loves her, He separates her from anything that would delay or diminish her destiny. Destiny required Abraham to leave his homeland and family in order to step into the promise God had prepared for him. Joseph had to be separated from his brothers before he could fulfill his divine purpose. Even Jesus, in moments of performing miracles, often had to send people away because of their unbelief. A woman chosen by God must come to understand that not everyone is meant to journey with her. Some people simply will not. It is painful when people leave. It is difficult to release relationships that once held deep meaning. But a chosen woman must trust that if God is removing someone from her life, it is ultimately for her good. She cannot allow emotional attachment to trap her in a place she has outgrown. She cannot lower her standards to fit in with those who are misaligned with her calling. She cannot compromise her purpose for the comfort of familiarity. Instead, she must embrace the truth that every loss makes room for something greater. Every closed door brings her closer to her destiny. Every person who walks away creates space for the right people to enter at the appointed time. A chosen woman does not beg anyone to stay. She does not chase after relationships that are not meant for her. She does not question God's will when He removes certain connections from her life. Instead, she moves forward in faith, knowing that those meant to accompany her will remain, and those who are not will be released. She understands that God's plan far exceeds her own, and she surrenders every relationship to Him, trusting that He will align her life with the right people in the right season. When a chosen woman begins to walk in her purpose, she must accept a difficult reality. Not everyone can go where she is going. Though she may have started her journey with friends, family, and supporters, she will begin to see some of those connections fade as she grows. This is not because she has done something wrong, nor does it reflect her worth. It is simply part of the process of elevation. When God calls a woman into greater purpose, He also calls her into a place of separation. Some people are meant only for a season in her life and cannot accompany her into the next. A chosen woman must realize that every person who enters her life has a purpose, but not everyone is meant to stay. Some come to teach her, some to help her grow, some to reveal what she must leave behind. But when their role in her story ends, they must move on, and she must be willing to let them go. Holding on to those who are not meant to stay will only hinder her progress. Trying to force expired relationships will delay her from fully stepping into her calling. God knows exactly who she needs for the journey ahead, and He will align her with the right individuals at the right time. When God begins to elevate a chosen woman, she will sense a shift in certain relationships. Some people will distance themselves, not because she has changed for the worse, but because her growth challenges them. Her passion for purpose may unsettle them. Her commitment to her calling may highlight their lack of direction. Her willingness to walk by faith may expose their fear, and instead of celebrating her progress, some will withdraw. This can be deeply painful, especially when it involves those she believed would always be by her side. But she must remember, not everyone is equipped to follow where God is leading her. Even Jesus experienced this. When He returned to His hometown, the people there could not accept who He had become. They only saw Him as the carpenter's son, not the Messiah. Because of their unbelief, He could not perform many miracles there. The same truth applies to a chosen woman. If she surrounds herself with those who only see her as who she used to be, she will be limited in becoming who she is meant to be. If she remains in circles that cannot recognize the anointing on her life, she will struggle to embrace her full calling. God is calling her to more, and sometimes that means letting go of those who refuse to grow with her. Letting go of people is never easy. It takes faith, it takes trust, it takes the courage to walk alone for a season. But a chosen woman does not plead with people to stay. She does not pursue relationships that no longer align with her destiny. She does not shrink herself to fit into places she has outgrown. Instead, she surrenders every connection to God and allows Him to orchestrate her relationships. She knows that the people who are meant to remain in her life will remain, and those who are not will be removed. God's plan is always perfect. He sees what she cannot. He knows the hearts of those around her. Some may smile at her while secretly hoping for her failure. Others may appear to support her while being threatened by her growth. Some may have walked with her for years but lack the faith to rise to the next level. Because He loves her, God will remove anyone who is not meant for her path. And though separation may sting at the moment, she will eventually see that every loss was a blessing in disguise. A chosen woman does not walk in fear. She does not cling to people out of insecurity. She does not remain in relationships that pull her away from her purpose. She places her full trust in God, knowing that those who are meant to walk with her will walk with her, and those who are not will not. Her focus is not on pleasing people, but on fulfilling the divine call upon her life. She knows that growth demands separation, and she is willing to release anything or anyone that stands in the way of where God is leading her. A chosen woman is set apart from the very beginning, and her journey often feels different from those around her. She does not blend in. She does not follow the crowd. She walks a path that is unfamiliar, one that demands faith, perseverance, and unshakable trust in God. It is not an easy path, but it is a necessary one. A chosen woman is called to something greater, and because of that, her journey often feels lonely. Yet this loneliness is not a sign of abandonment. It is a sign of divine selection. She is being set apart, not cast aside. She is being prepared, not rejected. And she must learn to embrace this solitude, knowing it is shaping her into the woman God created her to be. Consider those whom God called to greatness. Look at Esther. Before stepping into her destiny as queen, she endured a season of preparation in isolation. She was removed from the familiar and placed in a space where she had to rely on God alone. Ruth, too, after the loss of her husband, could have returned to her old life, but she chose to walk into the unknown, even if it meant walking alone. These women were not forsaken. They were being positioned for purpose. A chosen woman must recognize that isolation is not a curse. It is evidence that God is doing something significant in her life. There will be moments when she feels misunderstood. People may question her choices. They may wonder why she distances herself from certain individuals, why she no longer joins the same conversations, or why she seems changed. But she must not let the opinions of others shake her confidence. A chosen woman does not seek validation from the world. She seeks confirmation from God. She knows her steps are divinely ordered. Even when others don't understand, she continues forward in faith. The process of being set apart can feel lonely, but it is necessary for transformation. A butterfly cannot emerge without first entering a cocoon. It must be hidden, unseen, and undergo a complete transformation. If the cocoon is opened too soon, the butterfly is underdeveloped and cannot fly. The same is true for a chosen woman. If she rushes the process or chooses comfort over purpose, she risks stepping into something before she is ready, missing the fullness of what God has in store. She must trust that solitude is not punishment, it is preparation. God is removing what no longer serves her. Habits, mindsets, and even relationships that hinder her destiny. A chosen woman must not cling to what God is trying to release. She cannot carry unnecessary baggage into the next season. She must release anything weighing her down, no matter how painful. This process is not easy, but it is essential for growth. The more she surrenders, the lighter she becomes, and the lighter she becomes, the higher she can rise. In solitude, she learns to hear God more clearly. When life is filled with noise and distractions, it is hard to discern His voice. But in stillness, she hears His guidance, learns to trust His leading, and grows in wisdom, strength, and spiritual maturity. What may feel like isolation is actually divine instruction. She is being positioned for greater things, and God is preparing her heart, mind, and spirit for what's to come. She may wonder why others seem to have an easier path, why her road is filled with struggle while others appear to move forward with ease. But she must remember the weight of her calling is different. She is not called to an ordinary life. She is called to something extraordinary. And extraordinary callings demand extraordinary preparation. The trials she faces are not to break her. They are meant to build her. They are refining her, strengthening her, and equipping her for the journey ahead. A chosen woman does not walk alone because she is weak. She walks alone because she is being fortified. She is becoming the woman she was always meant to be. She is learning to trust God more deeply. She is discovering the value of solitude, the peace of stillness, and the wisdom that comes from walking with God. Though the road may be lonely, she must never forget she is never truly alone. God is with her every step of the way, guiding her, protecting her, and leading her into the destiny He has lovingly prepared for her. A chosen woman carries a divine purpose, and because of this, she is often misunderstood by those around her. The way she thinks, the way she moves, the way she speaks, everything about her is different because she is not meant to conform to this world. She doesn't fit into the crowd. People may question her choices or wonder why she doesn't follow the same patterns as everyone else. But this is no accident. It is by design. She is set apart, called to something higher. And those who do not understand her calling will often resist or reject her. Misunderstanding is one of the greatest challenges a chosen woman will face. She will encounter people who cannot see her for who she truly is. Some will define her by her past, refusing to acknowledge the transformation God has brought into her life. Others will place limits on her, believing she cannot possibly do what God has called her to. She has been judged, questioned, and even criticized for walking in her purpose. Yet she must not let the opinions of others define her destiny. A chosen woman does not live to earn the approval of people. She lives for the approval of God. Scripture is filled with stories of individuals who were misunderstood because of the divine calling on their lives. Joseph was misunderstood by his own brothers when he revealed his dreams. They didn't see a future leader. They saw a threat. Instead of lifting him up, they turned on him. David faced the same when he stepped forward to challenge Goliath. Even his own family doubted him, but God had already chosen him as king. And even Jesus in his own hometown was rejected. People could not fathom that the carpenter's son could actually be the Messiah. A chosen woman must recognize that being misunderstood places her in sacred company. Often it is a sure sign that she is walking in divine purpose. It is easy to feel disheartened when others fail to perceive what God is doing in her life. She may feel the urge to explain herself, to seek understanding, to be validated by those who will never fully grasp her calling. But she must resist that urge. Not everyone is meant to understand. Not everyone is supposed to see what God is doing in her life. Some are simply blind to the anointing she carries, and that is not her burden to bear. She does not need to explain herself to those who are not assigned to walk beside her. Her purpose is not up for debate. One of the most dangerous traps for a chosen woman is the temptation to shrink herself to fit into spaces never meant for her. She may feel pressure to water down her faith, to conform to expectations, to make herself more palatable to those who don't understand her, but in doing so, she not only denies who she is, she denies the calling God has placed on her life. She was not made to blend in. She was made to stand out. She was not called to be like everyone else. She was called to be set apart, A chosen woman must walk boldly in her purpose, even when misunderstood. She must trust that God sees what others cannot. She must hold tight to the truth that she is fully known and fully loved by the one who created her. She does not need to convince anyone of her worth. She does not need the validation of those who cannot comprehend her calling. Instead, she must fix her gaze on God and move forward with unwavering confidence. There will be seasons where she feels alone, misunderstood, and isolated, questioning why the weight of her calling is so heavy, especially while others seem to move easily through life. But she must remember, being misunderstood is often part of the refining process. It is confirmation that she is on the right path. The enemy does not waste energy attacking those who wander aimlessly. He targets those stepping into their calling. She must remind herself that she is never truly alone. God sees her heart, knows her struggles, and walks beside her every step of the way. When she feels rejected, he reminds her that she is accepted in him. When she feels invisible, he whispers that he sees her. When she feels unheard, he speaks peace to her soul. Her purpose is not dependent on being understood by people. Some will celebrate her, others will ignore her. Some will see her anointing, others will miss it entirely, but none of that changes the truth. God has chosen her for something greater. She must continue to walk by faith, knowing that her journey is not about being understood. It is about being obedient to the one who called her. A chosen woman possesses a strength the world often fails to understand. Her path is one of endurance, perseverance, and walking through fire, only to emerge refined. The trials she faces are not arbitrary, they are intentional. She is tested in ways others are not, because her calling requires a depth of preparation others may never encounter. The weight of her destiny is immense, and because of it, she must be fortified through experiences that may feel like breaking, but are truly building her. While others walk an easier road, she encounters resistance, roadblocks, and detours, each one drawing her closer to God. The enemy has no interest in those who pose no threat, but a chosen woman, she carries within her a light that causes darkness to tremble. Her presence shifts atmospheres. Her anointing disrupts strongholds, and her faith has the power to break chains. Because of this, her testing may seem unfair, but the trials are not meant to destroy her. They are equipping her. Every challenge she faces is an opportunity for growth. Every setback is a lesson, molding her into the woman she was created to be. Rejection teaches her resilience. Betrayal grants her wisdom. Loneliness draws her closer to God. She may not understand the purpose in the moment, but each hardship is preparing her for the future. What appears to be a loss is often a lesson. What feels like a delay is frequently divine protection. The fire she walks through is not meant to consume her, but to refine her. Just as gold is purified through intense heat, so too is she purified through trial. These seasons of discomfort are essential, necessary to burn away anything within her not aligned with God's purpose. She cannot carry old habits, toxic patterns, or unhealthy connections into the next chapter of her calling. The refining fire leaves behind only what is true, valuable, and unshakable. She will feel tired. She will question why her journey seems harder than others. She will wonder why she can't take the easy road. But she must remember, she is being prepared for something far greater. A soldier does not enter battle without enduring rigorous training. A diamond is not formed without pressure. And a chosen woman does not step into her destiny without first being tested. Every tear, every battle, every season of waiting is forging her into a warrior. She is not weak, she is being strengthened. There will be moments she wants to give up, when the weight feels unbearable, when the journey feels endless. She may want to walk away from the calling that demands so much, but she must press on. She must move forward even when she cannot see the full picture. The testing is temporary, but the transformation is eternal. The strength she gains now will sustain her in every future battle. She must trust the process. She must trust that God sees beyond what she can see. She must believe that her pain has purpose, that the trials have meaning, and that nothing she endures is wasted. And when she emerges from the fire, she will not be the same. She will be stronger, wiser, and fully prepared for the destiny that awaits. A chosen woman often walks a lonely path, not because she is unworthy of companionship, but because her calling requires her to be set apart. The higher the calling, the greater the isolation. Not everyone can walk with her. Not everyone will understand. Not everyone is meant to stay. She must learn to walk alone, not as a mark of weakness, but as proof of her strength. Her validation comes from God, not from a crowd. She may wonder why certain relationships fade, why those she trusted drift away, why she often feels like a stranger, even in familiar places, but she must understand divine separation is part of divine elevation. God removes people from her life not to harm her, but to protect her. Some cannot carry the weight of her anointing. Some would hinder, distract, or even sabotage her calling. So God moves them out of the way. She must not chase after those who leave, because often their departure is God's direction. She is not called to blend in. The world will tell her to conform, to fit in, to be like everyone else, but that is not her assignment. She is set apart for a reason. The more she tries to fit into spaces not meant for her, the more discomfort she will feel. God has placed something unique within her, and she must embrace it, even if it means walking alone. She must not fear solitude, for it is in solitude that God speaks most clearly. Her destiny is too significant to be surrounded by the wrong people. She must guard her inner circle with discernment, because not everyone smiling at her has good intentions. Some will pretend to support her while secretly hoping she fails. Some will drain her, discourage her, and distract her. Others simply cannot comprehend the magnitude of what God is doing in her life. She must learn to discern who is truly for her and who is only there for what they can gain. When God removes people, she must trust that it is for her protection. She must embrace seasons of solitude as sacred preparation. In the moments when she feels most alone, she is actually being positioned for greatness. God is drawing her near, strengthening her soul, and giving her wisdom for what's ahead. She must not waste these sacred seasons by chasing distractions or filling the void with meaningless connections. Instead, she must use them to grow, to heal, and to deepen her walk with God. What feels like isolation is actually incubation. God is preparing her for what is next. She will not always walk alone. In due time, God will align her with the right people, those who share her vision, who uplift her spirit, who walk beside her in faith. Until then, she must wait with patience. She must not settle for companionship that compromises her calling. She must not enter relationships out of loneliness. She must trust that in God's perfect timing, the right people will enter her life, and until then, she must stay focused on her assignment, knowing she is never truly alone. She must walk boldly in her calling, recognizing that solitude is not a punishment. It is a privilege. She has been chosen, set apart, and prepared for something greater. Though the road may be lonely, it is leading her exactly where she's meant to be. And as she walks that path, she will come to see that she was never walking alone. God has been with her, guiding her every step of the way.